Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Pisces November 14, 2022. With today's Venus-Mars minor challenge, you could question a recent choice. You might feel that others are pushing you or demanding too much from you. While you're generally being received well these days with Venus in your sign, you might not be able to bask temporarily. Some awkwardness in social situations is possible. Slight tweaks and adjustments may be necessary if you're looking to get something you want. Past mistakes are unlikely to repeat if you allow yourself to truly see them and learn from them. Later today, you could be showcasing your creativity and skills, and you feel much more at ease and comfortable with others. Today will make you feel miserable, frustrated, and heartbroken. You could feel like the entire world is against you. This is because the mighty Sun, our great luminary and the ruler of ego and consciousness, is charging through your solar first house of identity, your zodiac sign, and will have his light obscured by a fierce Saturn across the sky. This violent clash of fire and ice is never pleasant and signals depression and pain. Heavy news may appear around family, home, domesticity, your parents, or even real estate. Prepare and buckle down. What do you want as part of your work and life balance? You might need to be more emboldened by your desires as a person and professional when the Sun in your sign squares Saturn in Aquarius. The square might be initially stressful for you, especially if you feel limited in your capabilities or unsure of how to break up a pre-existing cycle. However, you may find that this square is just what you need to feel more authoritative as a professional. Take a stand for what you want or need to facilitate your unique work and life balance. It is not until just before leaving your financial sector today that the Moon will align with Mars, for the first time since the warrior planet of the cosmos turned retrograde here. The Moon has spent the last 2 days fueling your financial instincts and imagination while you are emotionally and intuitively engaged as you get a window into the warrior planet's new focus on the past. You can feel quite elevated during this planetary alignment. There is something intellectual about you these days. You might solve a great emotional mystery that has plagued you for months, or at least make headway. Give yourself the benefit of 30 minutes of exercise every day this week. Oxygenated blood helps increase your clarity of mind, while the relaxation that follows will keep you from suffering any mental anxiety. This is an intense vibration bringing illumination to your spiritual nature and emotions. Take care that you don't place unrealistic and overly demanding expectations on your colleagues. This can happen more readily today, along with moodiness. Keep in mind that everyone has to do things in a pace that works for them, no matter how different this is from your own. Strive for acceptance and patience, and if you find yourself overwhelmed, take a break to clear your head. Be careful that you don't alienate others by being unreasonable. The Moon's final hours in your financial sector are likely to be the most informative, though it has spent the last few days fueling your financial instincts and imagination. It is an alignment with Mars just before leaving that will see the Moon amplify his financial passions and fighting spirit while giving you a better read on what his retrograde turn is encouraging you to revisit. This might be the Moon's first visit since Mars turned retrograde, but it is not the last, with plenty of time to explore possibilities. Just as a friendly aspect between Venus, in her final days in Scorpio, and Neptune, in retrograde motion in your romantic sector is separating, two things happen to keep a sense of romance, adventure, and nostalgia alive. The first is that Mercury steps into Venus' shoes while it is the Moon's return to an adventurous part of your chart that will add a sense of adventure to the mix. Our eyes in the sky. Saturn squares the Sun early this morning, and will have a greater sense of responsibility, duty, and structure. Attention will be focused on doing the most practical thing and whatever makes the most sense. Our emotional nature will ease into a more intense vibe. We could withdraw from socializing with loved ones and acquaintances. It can be harder to hold conversations under this influence, and avoiding important talks could lead to arguments. You will make a terrific new friend related to your job in some way. This valuable resource will be more important to you than you realize. This person is a little strange and awkward, but overall, he or she has valuable information that you can benefit from. What makes this a potential game changer and an opportunity for a major breakthrough for both you and your relationships is that this is the first total lunar eclipse in Taurus in 2 decades. What adds to this is the fact that the lunar eclipse peaks just as the moon aligns with Uranus, the planet of surprise, synchronicity, and the unexpected, and as the Sun and Mercury, the planet of communication, are aligned in your relationship sector. This is the right trigger at the right time. Someone you work with will unexpectedly need your help. It is not necessary for you to completely drop everything for this person, but you should indeed try to help him or her. Work together and you will reach great success. Someone will pick you up and take you under his or her wing. This extra support will be of great benefit to you now. Don't resist this assistance. This boost is the exact key that you are looking for. Together you can soar to new heights. Protect your energy if you have to at this time. Be aware of your perspective amid other opinions. During this transit, we could be more likely to sacrifice our own needs and let people push their agendas on us. Focus on yourself to avoid uncomfortable moments with others at this time. Just after midnight, the Sun squares off with Saturn in Aquarius, putting us in a heavy headspace. We feel restricted, unable to act the way we want to. While the Sun is in Scorpio, all our desires and passions come into sharp relief. Yet, Saturn reminds us that we have obligations to others. It is not always about us, and we must work to earn our keep. It can also seem as though we are up against the clock now. Deadlines or time limits provoke extra stress, and instead of rising to the task, we look for vices to distract us. We are not above creating chaos, pulling the fire alarm to get out of taking the exam, so to speak. But our duties aren't going away. If we rise to the occasion, we can exit this period with a feeling of accomplishment. If we avoid our responsibilities, they will only catch up with us at a later date. This is something that at this time of year can energize both sides of the financial fence and act as a trigger. However, both sides are so ripe with potential and support, it was only ever going to take the smallest trigger, and this is the granddaddy of them all. This could have unexpected implications across the income, work, and career fronts, while a real breakthrough is possible on both sides of the financial fence. It is in the second half of the week that things will start to settle. Following this, the Gemini moon squares off with Neptune in Pisces, causing us to misread interactions and deceive ourselves. Our idealistic nature can be taken advantage of by those who sense our confusion and vulnerability. Yet, we are typically the ones who volunteer ourselves for disappointment by putting our trust in the wrong people. Exercise discernment to avoid compromising yourself.